The summer that once felt endless is now slipping away, and with it, the fragile balance between love and heartbreak. Episode 11 isn't just another chapter, it's the turning point where every choice matters. Every word carries weight, and every look could change the future. Fans are asking one burning question. When Belly finally stands at the edge of love and loss, who will she hold on to, and who will she let go? Episode 10 left us with emotions running higher than ever. Belly found herself torn in ways that felt heavier than the summers before. Conrad and Jeremiah are no longer just two brothers fighting for the same girl. They're two young men standing on opposite sides of love, grief, and loyalty. The tension between them isn't simply about romance anymore. It's about their memories of Susanna. It's the weight of family. And the pain of wanting the same person who stands at the heart of their lives. We watched Belly wrestle with her feelings. Unsure of whether her heart was guiding her toward comfort or passion, toward safety or risk. Jeremiah's openness has always been his strength. He puts his emotions on the table, unafraid to say how deeply he cares. But Conrad's quiet storms still echo in Belly's heart. His silence is heavy, his words careful, and it leaves Belly wondering if his love is too complicated to carry or too deep to ever walk away from. Meanwhile, the family storylines painted a backdrop that made episode 10 even more powerful. Laurel stepped in as the steady anchor, reminding Belly that love isn't always about choosing who makes you feel wanted, but about choosing who makes you feel whole. Stephen's humor added brief moments of light, yet even he couldn't hide the shadow of growing up, the realization that this summer isn't like the ones before. The closing moments of episode 10 gave us more questions than answers. Belly stood at an emotional crossroad, caught between memories of yesterday and the uncertain promise of tomorrow. The look in her eyes told us she knows a decision is coming, but the weight of it, the possibility of losing one brother forever, makes the choice almost unbearable. And as the screen faded, fans were left holding their breath, waiting for episode 11 to show what happens when feelings can no longer be hidden and choices can no longer be delayed. Episode 11 is not just another piece of the puzzle. It is the moment where the story finally begins to tilt in a direction that cannot be undone. Every small glance, every quiet confession, and every choice will echo louder than anything that has come before. Up until now, Belly has been able to stall, to drift between two tides of love, caught between the warmth of Jeremiah's certainty, in the storm of Conrad's unspoken devotion. But episode 11 forces her to move. It's no longer about wishing summers could last forever. It's about realizing that summers end. And with that ending comes decisions that carve the rest of your life. This is why fans are calling episode 11 the breaking point. It's the hour where silence turns into action, where secrets are exposed, and where the characters can no longer hide behind the softness of beach memories. Belly's world is shifting, and she knows that the safety of pretending. She doesn't have to choose. Pretending both brothers will wait forever. Pretending life can freeze and time's over. For the first time, her choices feel permanent. Her steps feel heavier. And the possibility of regret feels closer than ever. For Conrad, episode 11 is his chance, maybe his last chance, to open his heart in a way he's always resisted. Teases those lingering looks, those moments where his eyes say what his mouth refuses to. But hesitation has always been Conrad's curse. If he waits too long, Jeremiah's honesty might win Belly's heart forever. And that is the tragedy of his love. Deep, overwhelming, but always delayed. For Jeremiah, episode 11 is about proving that love doesn't have to be complicated to be real. He offers Belly something clear, something open, something steady. But even his certainty comes with fear, the fear that Belly's heart, no matter how much she tries to move forward, still drifts back to Conrad. That fear drives his actions, making him more desperate, more vulnerable, more ready to fight than we've ever seen before, and Belly, she is at the center of it all. Episode 11 puts her in the position she has been trying to avoid. The time of indecision is gone. Now she must face the truth. Who does she want, and who is she willing to hurt? Her decision is not just about love, but about identity. Who is Belly without Conrad's shadow? Who is Belly without Jeremiah's comfort? Who is Belly when she finally decides to stand on her own? Beyond the love triangle, Episode 11 also carries the weight of family. Laurel's wisdom will likely cut through the noise, reminding Belly that choices are not only about romance, but about becoming the woman she's meant to be. Stephen's loyalty, Taylor's presence, and even Susanna's memory will weave through the story, shaping the emotional storm that hangs over everyone. Episode 11 means change, change that cannot be reversed. It's the summer story turning into something more, into heartbreak, into growth, into the kind of love that leaves scars but also teaches survival. Fans know it, the trailer whispers it, and the first look confirms it. This is the episode that will redefine everything. The trailer for Episode 11 doesn't just give us glimpses. It gives us warnings. Every frame feels carefully placed, each moment heavy with meaning. When you slow it down, you realize the story is no longer simply about summer romance. It's about the collision of love, grief, and choices that can't be taken back. The opening shots are quiet, almost deceptively calm. We see Belly standing alone, the ocean stretching behind her. She looks out at the horizon, her expression unreadable, and in that silence, you can almost hear the storm building inside her. This isn't the carefree girl who arrived at Cousins Beach at the start of the summer. This is someone who knows that the innocence of those summers is gone. So that single look sets the tone. Episode 11 will not be light. It will not be simple. It will be heavy with decisions that will break hearts. Then the trailer cuts quickly to Conrad. His eyes are tired, filled with the weight of words he still hasn't spoken. There's a moment where he opens his mouth to say something important, but the scene cuts before we hear it. That silence is louder than any line could be. It teases us, it frustrates us, and it tells us Conrad is once again caught in his own hesitation. Will he finally break that silence in Episode 11? Or will it once again be the thing that costs him everything? Next we see Jeremiah. His energy in the trailer is completely different. He's direct, emotional, almost urgent. There's a shot where he grabs Belly's hand, his eyes locked on hers, as if he's trying to pull her into his world, to remind her that he is here, steady and waiting. The way the camera lingers on that touch suggests Episode 11 will push Jeremiah to take bigger risks, to fight harder than ever to secure her heart. His fear of losing her is all over his face, and it's raw in a way that contrasts sharply with Conrad's restraint. But the trailer doesn't just focus on the love triangle. We catch glimpses of Laurel, her voice layered over the images, reminding Belly that love without honesty can't survive. Her presence is grounding, a reminder that Episode 11 isn't only about passion, it's about truth. We also see Stephen, his usual humor dimmed, watching his sister from a distance. His quiet concern suggests that even he knows the summer is reaching a breaking point, one that could leave scars on everyone, not just Belly. Then there's the haunting image of Susanna's memory, brought back through a photograph Belly holds in her hands. The trailer doesn't need to show much, it's that simple. Emotional callback that reminds viewers that Susanna's presence still lingers, shaping every choice, every hesitation, every moment of love and loss. Her absence is the invisible force pulling all of them apart and, in some strange way, holding them together. The closing seconds of the trailer are perhaps the most powerful. Belly is seen walking away, tears in her eyes, while Conrad and Jeremiah stand apart, looking at her, but also at each other. No words are spoken, but the distance between them feels unbearable. The shot freezes on Belly's face, her expression torn between fear and determination. It fades to black, and we are left with only one thought: whatever happens in Episode 11 will change everything. This trailer doesn't just tease a new chapter, it foreshadows a storm. And for fans, it raises the question: when that storm breaks, who will Belly choose, and who will be left behind in the wreckage? At the heart of the summer I turned, Pretty has always been Belly. She isn't just the girl caught between two brothers. She's the mirror through which we see the pain of growing up, the beauty of first love, and the heartbreak of letting go. Episode 11 sharpens that focus like never before. Belly is no longer the girl who dreamed of fairy tale summers. She is the young woman realizing that love is as heavy as it is beautiful, and that choosing means losing. There is no path that doesn't break someone's heart, including her own. Her journey in episode 11 is about facing herself. For seasons, Belly has floated between her feelings, pulled by the tides of Conrad's stormy silence and Jeremiah's open warmth. But as the story reaches this point, her indecision is no longer innocent. It's a weight pressing down on both brothers, on her family, and on her own identity. In episode 11, Belly learns the truth that so many coming-of-age stories hide, that growing up means accepting that you cannot have everything, and that love demands courage, not just desire. The trailer hints at her emotional state through quiet moments, her standing alone, staring at the sea, her eyes shimmering with the kind of tears that don't fall but burn inside. That image says more than words. Belly knows she must choose. She can't hide behind the safety of someday anymore. The summer is ending, and with it, the illusion that her heart can belong to two people. Episode 11 forces her into that decision, and it terrifies her, because no matter what she chooses, someone she loves will walk away hurt. What makes Belly's journey so raw is that it isn't just about romance. It's about identity. With Jeremiah, she feels seen, safe, wanted, understood. With Conrad, she feels passion, the complexity, the kind of love that shakes the soul. Both sides of her heart are real, but episode 11 asks her, who does she want to be? The girl who chooses comfort, or the girl who chooses the storm? There's also the shadow of Susanna. Belly's memories of her guidance, her love for both. Boys, it lingers in every decision Belly makes. She isn't just carrying her own heart. She's carrying the weight of a family broken by loss, and she knows whichever choice she makes will ripple far beyond herself. Choosing Conrad risks reopening wounds. Choosing Jeremiah risks betraying a love that has always lived quietly in the background. And doing nothing risks losing them both. Episode 11 transforms Belly's conflict from a simple teenage dilemma into something larger, something universal. It's about what we do when life forces us to choose between two parts of ourselves. It's about the moment when innocence ends and maturity begins. It's about the kind of heartbreak that shapes the rest of a life. The Belly we see in episode 11 is torn apart but also stronger. For the first time, she begins to step into her own voice. To realize that this decision is not about pleasing others, it's about listening to her own heart, even if it breaks someone else's. And that is the central conflict. Not just Conrad versus Jeremiah, but Belly versus herself. This is why episode 11 feels so monumental. Because no matter what Belly chooses, she will never be the same again. And neither will the brothers who love her. If Belly is the heart of this story, then Conrad and Jeremiah are the fire and water that surround her to forces colliding. It's unable to exist in peace when it comes to her love. Episode 11 doesn't just continue their rivalry. It pushes it to the edge of breaking. What began as small moments of jealousy and competition is now raw, exposed, and impossible to ignore. The trailer already shows hints of this. We see Conrad standing in silence, his eyes heavy with thoughts he doesn't say. We see Jeremiah stepping forward, more direct than ever, his emotions laid bare. The contrast is striking. Conrad's quiet storm versus Jeremiah's open flame. Both love Belly in their own way, but episode 11 suggests that those ways can no longer coexist. For Conrad, every scene in episode 11 feels like a battle with himself. He has always carried his feelings in silence, protecting his heart with walls so high, even Belly struggles to climb them. But silence has a price. And now, with Jeremiah boldly taking his place beside Belly, Conrad faces the reality that his hesitation may cost him the only girl he's ever truly loved. Episode 11 forces him to confront this. Either speak now or lose her forever. Jeremiah, on the other hand, has never hidden his heart. He's the one who confesses, who fights openly, who puts his soul into every word. But even with his honesty, he lives in the shadow of Conrad. He knows that deep down, Belly's connection to his brother runs deeper than words can capture. That fear drives him in episode 11, drives him to push harder, to hold tighter, to prove to Belly that his love is not second best, but the love she deserves. The tension between the brothers is not just about romance, it's about identity. Conrad is the older brother, the one who has always carried responsibility, pain, and secrets. Jeremiah is the younger, the one who has always longed to be seen as equal, as worthy. Belly's heart has become the battleground for their lifelong differences. And episode 11 is where that battle erupts, not just in stolen glances, but in open conflict. What makes it even more heartbreaking is that beneath the rivalry, there is love between them. They are brothers, bound by Susanna, by family, by memories of summers that once felt unbreakable. And yet episode 11 reminds us of a cruel truth. Sometimes love for the same person can tear even the closest bonds apart. Their shared grief. For Susanna still lingers like an open wound, and Belly's presence only makes it deeper. Choosing her feels like betraying each other. But not choosing her feels impossible. The first look teases moments where their pain slips through. Conrad staring after Belly while Jeremiah stands by her side, Jeremiah clenching his jaw as Conrad's name lingers in her voice. These aren't just small details. They're cracks in the foundation of brotherhood. Cracks that episode 11 threatens to split wide open by the end of this episode. Conrad and Jeremiah may not only lose Belly, they may lose each other. And that is what makes the tension so devastating. Love has always been the bond that held them together. But now love might be the very thing that destroys them. While most eyes are fixed on Belly, Conrad and Jeremiah, episode 11 reminds us, that summer at Cousins is never just about the triangle. The family and friendships woven through this story are what give it weight, grounding the romance in something larger, something deeply human. And in this episode, those threads become more important than ever. Laurel, Belly's mother, has always been the quiet force holding everything together. She knows the kind of love that lifts you up and the kind of love that tears you apart. And in episode 11, her wisdom cuts through the storm. The trailer hints at her voice echoing over certain moments, reminding Belly that love without honesty, without truth, cannot last. Laurel's role is not just to guide Belly, it's to remind her daughter that choosing love is also choosing the kind of person she wants to become. Her words carry the weight of someone who has lost, who has suffered, but who has also survived. And in many ways, Laurel represents Belly's future self-proof that heartbreak does not end you. It shapes you. Then there's Stephen, Belly's brother. In earlier episodes, he was the comic relief, the one who could lighten the mood when things became too heavy. But in episode 11, we see a shift. Stephen is no longer just the funny brother, he's the watchful protector, quietly aware of how fragile Belly has become under the weight of her decisions. There's a moment in the trailer where he watches her from a distance, his expression serious, stripped of his usual humor. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes. Stephen knows that his sister is walking into something that could change her forever, and he can't protect her from it. That helplessness gives his subplot more depth than ever before. Taylor, Belly's best friend, also steps into a sharper role. She has always been the bold voice, unafraid to say what Belly refuses to admit. In episode 11, Taylor's presence becomes a mirror, showing Belly the parts of herself she doesn't want to face. Friendship is not always about comfort, it's about truth, and Taylor embodies that truth. Whether Belly wants to hear it or not, Taylor forces her to confront her own heart, even if it means risking tension between them. And then there's the ghost of Susanna, whose presence hangs over every scene. Even though she is gone, her memory lingers in photos and whispers, in the unspoken love she had for both her sons and for Belly. In episode 11, Susanna is not a character on screen, but she is the heartbeat of the story. Every choice Conrad and Jeremiah make is shaped by her absence. Every tear Laurel sheds is tied to her memory. Every step Belly takes feels like it honors or betrays what Susanna once dreamed for them. This is the kind of subplot that doesn't need dialogue, felt in the silence, in the spaces between characters, in the way they look at one another and remember the love that once held them all together. These family and friendship arcs remind us that the summer I turned pretty is not just about romance, it's about connection. It's about how love, loss, and friendship weave into our lives in ways we can never untangle. Episode 11 magnifies those connections, showing us that even as hearts are breaking, bonds of family and friendship are what keep the story alive at its core. Episode 11 is not only about who Belly chooses, it's about what love really means. When stripped of its summer glow, this episode leans heavily into the emotional themes that have defined the entire series. The sweetness of first love, the ache of loss, and the painful beauty of growing up. Love in episode 11 is raw and unpolished. It's no longer the dreamy, golden-hued romance of early summers. Instead, it's fragile, uncertain, and at times overwhelming. With Jeremiah, love is warmth, comfort, and safety. With Conrad, love is intensity, mystery, and risk. Belly stands between these two versions of love, realizing that both are real, both are valid, but neither comes without sacrifice. The story reminds us that love isn't always about who makes you feel happiest. It's about who challenges you to grow. Even when it hurts, loss is the invisible thread running through every frame. Susanna's absence looms over the characters, shaping every decision and every fear. Her memory is the weight that Conrad carries in silence, the ache Jeremiah tries to soften with joy, and the reminder for Belly that life is fleeting, love is fragile, and moments cannot be taken for granted. Loss is not just in the past, it's in the present. In the possibility that whichever choice Belly makes, she will lose someone she deeply loves. The show doesn't shy away from this truth. Instead, episode 11 forces its characters to face it had done, and then there's growth. Perhaps the most important theme of all for Belly. Episode 11 is about transformation, about stepping out of the dreamlike haze of childhood summers and into the difficult reality of adulthood. Growth means facing heartbreak. Growth means understanding that choices define who you are. Growth means knowing that even when you break, you can still find the strength to put yourself back together. For Conrad and Jeremiah, growth comes in facing themselves as much as each other, by realizing that silence is not love, and that holding back can destroy what he most wants to protect. Jeremiah must grow by accepting that love cannot be forced, even with honesty and devotion, and that vulnerability is not weakness. Both brothers are learning that love is not a competition to win, it's a truth to accept, no matter the outcome. Episode 11 weaves these themes together into something deeply emotional. Love, loss, and growth collide, creating a story that feels painfully real. Because beneath the romance, beneath the drama, lies a truth we all know. Summers end, people change. And growing up means letting go of who you were to become who you're meant to be. Episode 11 doesn't just move the story forward, it shatters the calm before the storm and sets the stage for an unforgettable climax. From the very first moments, the tension is palpable. The trailer teases glimpses of what's to come, Belly standing alone. Conrad and Jeremiah's gazes locked on her, and fleeting shots of family and friends that hint at choices yet to be made. Every frame seems deliberate, almost whispering that nothing will be the same after this episode. The first look for episode 11 is teasing, but it's loaded with emotion. We see Belly in moments of quiet reflection, her face heavy with the weight of impossible choices. These aren't just casual glances, they are windows into her heart, showing us the torment of knowing that whichever path she chooses, someone will be left behind. That alone sets the stage for a cliffhanger that fans have been anticipating for months. Will Belly finally make her choice, or will she step back, prolonging the tension for another heartbreak-filled episode? Conrad's presence in the first look is equally intense. There's a shot of him staring at Belly, his jaw tight, eyes glistening with restrained emotion. It's a look that conveys everything he hasn't said, everything he's been holding back, and the terrifying possibility that hesitation could cost him the one thing he's always wanted. The first look teases the vulnerability beneath his stoic exterior, suggesting that episode 11 might finally push him to speak or break. Jeremiah, by contrast, is shown in moments of openness and determination. We see him reaching out to Belly, holding her hand, urging her to confront her feelings. His expressions are raw and honest, a stark contrast to Conrad's quiet turmoil. The first look hints that Jeremiah is ready to fight for love openly, but even his courage carries the shadow of fear that Conrad's deep. That complicated love might still sway Belly, and then there's the subtle yet haunting presence of love. Susanna's memory. In certain frames, her photograph, her voice, or her unseen guidance reminds the characters and the audience that the past is never far behind. It's a delicate but powerful reminder that episode 11 is not just about choices made in the present, but the echoes of love and loss that have shaped every character. Her lingering presence adds an emotional layer to the cliffhanger. It's making it clear that what's coming is bigger than anyone can imagine. Family and friendship dynamics also add to the suspense. Laurel's guidance, Stephen's watchful eyes, and Taylor's insistence on truth all suggest that Belly's journey won't be solitary. These supporting roles amplify the stakes. Every choice she makes affects more than her heart, tip ripples across her family, her friendships, and the summer she's grown up in. The first look teases these ripples without revealing their consequences, leaving fans desperate for answers. Episode 11 promises a cliffhanger that will leave viewers on edge. It's a culmination of every emotion we've felt throughout the season: longing, heartbreak, hope, and fear. The first look doesn't give away answers. It gives questions, doubts, and anticipation. Will Belly choose Conrad, Jeremiah, or will she take an unexpected path that shocks everyone? Will family bonds hold, or will they be tested beyond repair? Episode 11 is the turning point, the moment where love and loyalty clash. And nothing is guaranteed. For fans watching the trailer and the first look, the message is clear: prepare. For heartbreak, prepare for revelation. And prepare for a summer that will change Belly and everyone around her ever. Episode 11 is not just another episode. It is the emotional earthquake before the finale, and the first look hints at tremors that will be felt long after the screen goes dark. As episode 11 approaches, the excitement and tension reach a fever pitch. The trailer and first look have shown just enough to make hearts race, but not enough to answer the questions every fan has been asking. Belly's choice, the brothers' conflict, and the subtle family tensions all point to a summer that will no longer feel safe or predictable. Episode 11 is the turning point, the moment where everything fans have loved, feared, and hoped for collides in one dramatic emotional hour. The closing moments of the first look give us glimpses of that collision. Belly standing on the beach, wind blowing through her hair, her eyes searching the horizon. It's a symbolic scene, showing that she is at the edge of something monumental. Every glance at Conrad or Jeremiah tells a story, a tension that words could never fully express. And in these quiet yet powerful moments, viewers are left feeling the weight of what's to come. The beauty of episode 11 lies not just in the plot, but in the emotional experience. Fans are invited to step into Belly's shoes, to feel her fear, her desire, and her uncertainty. Each frame, each look, each pause in the trailer is carefully crafted to pull audiences deeper into the story. This is not just entertainment. It is an emotional journey, and the suspense is relentless, because at any moment, everything could change. It's one conversation, one choice, one action could send shockwaves through everyone's lives to heighten engagement. Episode 11 also leaves subtle hints and visual cues for fans to dissect. Every look, every gesture, every unspoken word is an invitation for speculation. Who will Belly choose? Will Conrad finally let his heart speak? Will Jeremiah's honesty be enough to secure her love? And even beyond the love triangle, how will family and friends react to these decisions? Fans watching the trailer are already theorizing, debating, predicting because the stakes are personal, and the outcomes feel impossible to foresee. The suspense doesn't end with the episode itself. Episode 11 is designed as a precursor to the finale, leaving viewers desperate for answers. The cliffhangers, the emotional confrontations, and the unresolved tensions all serve to create a sense of urgency and anticipation. Every fan watching knows that the story is reaching a crucial turning point, and nothing in the next episode or the finale will be predictable. In this way, episode 11 serves as both a culmination and a launchpad. It resolves small arcs while introducing new tensions, ensuring that viewers are hooked, emotionally invested, and ready for what comes next. The closing build-up teases heartbreak, joy, and revelation, promising that this episode will leave a lasting mark on the characters and on the audience. For fans, there is no simple answer, no easy resolution. The closing build-up leaves everyone asking, what will Belly decide? How will the brothers respond? And ultimately, how will the summer end? Episode 11 is the moment where questions overwhelm answers, where tension peaks, and where the emotional stakes have never been higher. Fans can't just watch, they must feel, anticipate, and experience the drama as it unfolds.